noon hour is here.
Check it out.
And you're locked on to Utah's highest rated, most listened to sports radio station.
It's my station. It's my station.
This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, folks, let's get it. Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. We've been telling you all week. Now it's the time. Get down here to Nephi. We are live at Bar Dub Grill, our home away from home here in beautiful Nephi, Utah. You think it's a long drive. It's not. Put on your big boy pants and come on down here because Bart and the crew are going to make it completely worth your while. You're going to have the best burger you'll ever have. You can buy the steaks. You can buy the burgers, take them home, and you can even make your order for your Thanksgiving dinner. We'll talk about that coming up a little bit later on, but how are you?
Oh, I'm good, man. I'm good. And I'm only about 20 feet away from the pot roast dinner. And just thinking about that pot roast simmering in a big pot in the back and those mashed potatoes and those steamed onions and those cooked green beans, the pot roast dinner is so good. It just falls apart. It's all got gravy kind of drizzled over the top with some fried onion rings on top of this amazing pot roast. It's just the best dinner you'll ever have.
There are certain times where, like, we get a lot of food on shows. We go to restaurants and things like that, and all of it's always good. And then there's that moment where I can see in your eyes, we're like,
something changes.
Something changed. And when they brought out that pot roast last time we were here, it was like I saw your eyes light up like a kid on Christmas morning. And I'm like, oh, they got him.
And what I do 2 days later
is you bring the family down.
I brought Mom and Dad, brought Amanda. We all came down. We all had the pot roast dinner together.
And I'd like to think that you're just being a good son and a good husband. There wasn't a lot of altruism there.
It was all
No, you wanted that pot roast again.
It was all self-driven. I just wanted another pot roast dinner. So, I don't want to confuse what Bar Dub Grill is because for me, it's the pot roast dinner. It's that slow roasted, amazing pot roast that's a fresh Bar W beef cut. It's just delicious. But really, it is about the burgers. They've got classic, incredible burgers. And they've got some real unique burgers.
Oh, yeah.
Like the Aussie burger that's got a beet, an egg. It's got all kinds of things. Pineapple. The Aussie burger is incredible. And if you haven't had it, it does come together incredibly. But they also have amazing shakes. And we talk about the spud nuts. So Bar Dub Grill just off exit 222 in Nephi. It's going to be worth the stop.
They got another convert in my guy Kevin White. K-Dub came down here, and he is all about Bar W.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, I happened to golf with K-Dub and the Bar W Beef boys, and we had a good old time.
Yeah.
Let's just say that. I told you, man, we popped out the hibachis.
On every hole.
Threw a couple ribeye out. Right in the middle of the fairway.
Let that sucker sizzle. By the way, Thanksgiving's coming up, and nothing will stress out a family more than Thanksgiving dinner. And guess what? Bar Dub, they're taking care of it for you. All you have to do is make your order. They've got a dinner for 6, one that has the turkey, another one that has the prime rib and the turkey, and you can order all of it. It comes with the pies. It comes with the stuffing and the green beans, the glazed carrots, the mashed potatoes, the gravy, the cranberry. All of that stuff is included, and all you have to do is make that order. And they say it's for 6. It's going to feed a lot more than 6.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're talking about a dozen fresh-baked rolls, 3 pounds of mashed potatoes, 3 pounds of oven-roasted turkey, 4 pounds of their smoked Bar W prime rib, which it just melts in your mouth.
I did that the other day.
The finest prime rib. Oh, and they give you the au jus and creamy horseradish with the meal. So it comes with everything. All you got to do is call and order it. You pick it up, and you just got to heat it up. I mean, it's all cooked. It's all ready. It's all prepared for you.
Yep.
So Bar Dub is trying to make Thanksgiving really easy for you.
And they're actually really cool with if you come down and you grab all that food and then you take it back up and then you serve it, you can take credit for it. Bart's like, it's fine. You don't have to. I mean, we would love for you to say this all came from Bar Dub, but you can own it if you want and just say, oh, yeah, look what I whipped together. No big deal.
Plenty of great things we got going here at Bar Dub. And Scotty, I feel like our country is really confused on what to do with college football right now. I feel like the committee's confused. I feel like the pollsters are confused. I feel like nobody knows what direction to go, but they all feel like the SEC is wagging. They feel like the SEC is the most important. They feel like the Big Ten is going to deserve and demand their vote and their attention. And I'm getting a little bit nervous. Because the more you read, the more you start to look at it, the more it's starting to lend to the Big 12 being a one-bid league. We need to talk about it.
Can't imagine that'll happen, but yes, there is a distinct possibility that Greg Sankey, the overlord of all things college athletics, will find a way to screw over the Big 12. Let's get to it, starting a lineup right now.
This is Hans and Scotty G.
Let's go!
The lineup is set, and it's time to kick off the show with the biggest topic of the day. This is the starting lineup on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
It is your starting lineup right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Hans Olsen, Scott Gerard. All right, you just heard Hans mention, is there a world that exists in which the Big 12 only gets one team? I hate to say it, but yeah, I think there is. It's not right. It's not the correct thing to do, but it very much is a distinct possibility.
Well, if you're listening to any of the national personalities that tend to sway some of these voters and some of these committees, they're talking about USC potentially being able to sneak back into the college football playoff conversation. If they were to beat number 8 Oregon this weekend and then finish with a win against UCLA, they would finish 10-2, and they would have wins against Oregon, Iowa, and Michigan. They would have losses against Illinois and Notre Dame. And people are talking about USC now jumping a second Big 12 team to find themselves in the college football playoffs in the mix with Alabama, Oklahoma, Notre Dame, Oregon, even if they did lose. So USC has to beat Oregon in order to be in the conversation. But if they were to beat Oregon, Oregon would go to 9-2, and now Oregon would remain in consideration and conversation well above a second team in the Big 12. And we try to draw all the most likely scenarios out of the Big 12. I think right now as I look at it, if you were to put sodium pentothal in my veins and force me into the truth, I think right now as I look at it, complete honesty, and don't get mad at me, I think BYU beats Cincinnati. I think BYU beats UCF. And I think that they match up with Texas Tech in the championship game. As things stand, I think BYU is going to keep it closer, but I still think it's going to be a 17-point win for Texas Tech. BYU could play an amazing game, and they can absolutely be in that game, Scotty. You know I've been talking about that since the BYU-Texas Tech game.
Yeah.
So don't look at me that way. You know I've been talking about it for a long time. If you just go even, you're not -3 in the turnover margin.
Yeah.
If you just go even, that game shapes up a lot differently. If your offense just has a little bit of productivity, and I know it's a really good defense, but you're going to have to go 5-on-4s. Mm-hmm. You're going to have to go 5-on-4s, man. Yep. And you know what? You're going to have to throw in some no-huddle wrinkles, or you're going to have to throw in some tempo wrinkles, or you're going to have to throw in some deep 5 wrinkles, or you're going to have to do some things that Texas Tech doesn't expect you to do, and you're going to have to probably be +1 in the turnover margin, which you can.
All of that is capable.
And you can be in that game, and you could possibly beat Texas Tech. But reality, just based off of the matchup that we saw and the way Texas Tech did it, and BYU bowed up in the end zone or in the red zone and kept him out of the end zone. Otherwise, it would have been a 38, 45-plus point game. BYU's defense really showed up in that game. They can compete, but I'm just speaking from experience and reality. If they beat BYU by 17 points, I think it drops BYU out of the conversation. If USC beats Oregon, I think that Utah now falls out of the conversation, and I think it's a 12-team college football playoff, including Texas Tech, 5 SEC teams, at least four Big Ten teams, and maybe a 6th SEC team. We don't know.
Yeah.
But that's more what we're looking at.
Well, then you get your ACC and your group of 5. There you go.
I think we'll see one ACC, and we'll see the group of 5. Now, everybody's saying the group of 5 doesn't deserve an automatic bid this year.
But they get one.
And I've seen everybody from Memphis to Tulane. I've seen everybody through the American Conference. I've seen South Florida but I have not seen a Mount West Conference team. Regardless, you're going to get one group of 5. You're going to get one ACC. It's looking like one Big 12.
And then 5 and 4.
And the rest is going to be filled by the Big 10 and the SEC.
Yep.
That's stupidity.
It's stupidity in its purest form. So you're telling me the Big 12 is – and look, you know me. I'm Utah State's guy. I do their games. I'm a group of a G5 honk.
Yeah.
I will always stand up for the little guy. But what you're saying right now is that the Big 12 is as worthy of a spot as the entire group of 5 teams. I don't – really, that's what you're saying, is that they get their automatic bid, the group of 5 gets their automatic bid, and there's nothing else. Now, I agree with that with the ACC, but the Big 12, come on.
The Big 12 has been too good, and I'm hoping. I do believe if BYU keeps it as a 2-score game, and they're in that game in the fourth quarter, and it looks like a hotly contested game in Arlington, Texas, in the Big 12 championship game, maybe the committee looks at BYU and says, you know what? Let's see what they do against Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I watched Notre Dame and Pitt. I am just not impressed.
No, I'm not either.
I'm not impressed.
Notre Dame will get curb stomped like they normally do. I know they had a good run last year, but they'll get curb stomped.
They will.
Now, we've been talking a lot over the last week and a half, kind of game planning, situations, and what I've felt for a while is that Utah could compete with BYU if BYU gets blown out of the Big 12 title game. Guess what? The scenario you listed is spot on accurate. It's not a conversation if Utah jumps up and takes over BYU. It's if USC jumps up and takes out BYU. Because you're definitely not getting 3 in, and now you're on the borderline of 2 and 1. And I think if BYU runs the table and they're relatively close, they keep that within 10 games, and it feels like a game in the fourth quarter, I think BYU's in. But you're right. If they get hammered, if it's 29-7 and it never feels like a game, then, yeah, I don't think they'll get in.
If BYU beats Texas Tech, which I don't think would be good for Utah, because then it might be a 2-bid league. BYU would be in with the automatic bid, and I think they might let Texas Tech in.
They'll let Texas Tech in.
Because Texas Tech has made so much noise that they might let Texas Tech into that college football playoff. Just so everybody's aware, if BYU runs the table from here on out, the Big 12 championship, that's worst-case scenario for Utah.
Oh, yeah.
That puts the fork in Utah.
Well,
they're done.
I think Utah's done already. If not, the only way Utah gets in is if they're in the Big 12 title game and win it. I think that's the only route Utah has to getting in now.
So you don't think if Utah beats the tar out of Kansas State and beats the crap out of Kansas,
I don't think I'm going total pessimism now, because I'm with you. I've heard all the national talking heads, and here's the thing:
nobody talks about too.
We like to rip on the talking heads, but guess what? They're talking to Greg Sankey. They're talking to people on that committee, and they know the direction things are going right now. And, a lot like how we kind of joke about, like, well, my gut's telling me this, there's a lot of things we say on this show that we know, but we can't say, but we're going to tell you even though we can't say. And hopefully people have picked up on that in the 12 years we've done this show. Like, there's a lot of things we know that we can't say, but we allude to it and let you know that we know in a roundabout way. Well, guess what? I think there's a lot of talking heads out there that see the writing on the wall and are talking to people on the committee. They're talking to conference commissioners, and they're getting a vibe right now that USC is making a big push and that they're opening some eyes on that committee. And if they do certain things, that they will get in, and the Big 12 will only be a 1-bid league. However, that's if Texas Tech wins it. I do believe that if BYU or Utah beat Texas Tech in the championship game, they'll still put Texas Tech in as a at-large.
I think Tech's pretty much
and so if you're Brett
done their work.
So if you're Brett Yormark, the ultimate, the circus leader, or what do you ever call them? The Barnum and Bailey.
Yeah, the ringleader.
If I'm Brett Yormark, I am doing everything I can to make sure Texas Tech loses that Big 12 championship game.
Because I know I can get 2 bids. Yeah. And, I look at teams like Alabama. Like, you need Alabama to lose again. Alabama finishes this season with Eastern Illinois, an FCS team, and a 1-conference win Auburn team. They finish with absolutely nobody. Alabama is sitting so pretty, and they know it, with 2 losses. And they know it, that they're sitting pretty. They can't be touched. You know, I look at Notre Dame like, okay, you need Notre Dame to lose. With a passion, you need Notre Dame to lose. Well, the problem is Notre Dame has always put together a schedule that, you know, gives them some type of compatibility at the end of the season, and they finished with Syracuse and Stanford, the mighty Syracuse and the mighty Cardinal. That's their final games.
Yeah. They're not losing.
They're not losing either one of those. And so you know Notre Dame's in safely. You know Alabama's in safely. There's a good chance that USC beats Oregon.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
There's a really good chance that USC beats Oregon. And then what? So this is the only hope. What is it, the 3rd edition of the College Football Playoff Rankings?
Yes.
3rd edition, right?
I believe so, yeah.
3rd edition of the College Football Playoff Rankings come out tonight. And I think that they're going to indicate every intention that they've got. Utah with a dominant win, just beating up Baylor. BYU with a dominant win, beating up TCU. I think they're going to go from 12-13 now to 11-12. And I think everybody's going to put up a big sign and say, no room in the inn. You're not welcome. Because, you know, those are 2 really good wins against 2 good Texas teams, against 2 really good quarterbacks in Hoover and Sawyer. Those are really good quarterbacks, and those are good teams and good coaches and good programs. And the committee's going to indicate, no room here. Now, I know that there wasn't a lot of losing up ahead of them, but I still think there's got to be a way that a 1-loss BYU team finds a way over a 2-loss Alabama or a 2-loss Notre Dame or a 2-loss Oklahoma. All of these teams are standing up in front of them. All of these teams are up ahead of them.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just don't think the committee is going to do it. Oklahoma finishes with Missouri and LSU. That's their 2 finishes. And
win-win.
Yeah, win-win. I don't see them stumbling.
Missouri might give them a problem, but I don't think so.
I almost wonder sometimes what these conferences are up to, but
they're up to shenanigans like crazy.
That's what I feel.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
I guess I'm just bummed. I'm a little bit let down because, you know, this is as good as I think the Big 12's been in a long time, and we got 2 teams here in the state that own it, outside of Texas Tech. I mean, they've owned this conference. They're collectively having the best seasons together that you and I have been on the air for 20 years, you even longer. We've never seen BYU and Utah with 2 games left be this level in standing, this level in recognition, where Utah's been on game day or big noon, 2-3 times?
This will be their 3rd time.
And BYU has been 2-3 times?
I'm sorry. This will be BYU's 3rd, and I think Utah's 3?
3?
Yeah, but, I mean, you're looking at both these teams, 25% of their seasons have been in front of a national audience, whether it's ESPN Game Day or a big noon kickoff.
And what's sad is it's not doing anything, and that's a real bummer. I'm also going to be interested to see what the committee does with Texas Tech.
Yeah.
Do they keep Texas Tech outside the top 5?
That is interesting. So, yeah, you're right. There's going to be a lot of tipping of the hat, if you will, in terms of what they're going to show in this one, and it will lead to, okay, this is the direction they're leaning right now. So you can read between the lines on a lot of stuff that you're going to see tonight. Don't like it, but that's the world we're living in, unfortunately. All right, Hans and Scotty, this is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Let's go! Complete game coverage of the Cougars is right here on the KSL Sports Zone. It's a huge Big 12 battle for the Cougars as they head to Cincinnati for a showdown against the Bearcats. Your home for the best coverage of Cougar football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Woo!
That is your Cougars at 30 update, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. But it is also a Tuesday, which means we're giving away Jazz tickets. Caller number 12 right now. Let's do it.
It's Jazz Ticket Tuesday, and your chance to win tickets is right now.
Call this number now.
Call this number now.
Be caller number 12 at 801-575-ZONE. 801-575-ZONE. And you'll be on your way to Delta Center to see the Utah Jazz.
He fires the three. He hits. Oh, don't do me like that.
This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
There you go. Caller number 12 right now, 801-575-ZONE. That's 801-575-ZONE. You win a pair of tickets. See the Jazz and the Oklahoma City Thunder coming up November 21st.
I wanted to pick your brain on something.
Yes?
We were just having that conversation yesterday about Devin Dampierre and Bert Ficklin. He got brought up with Kyle Whittingham, talking about retaining both.
Yes.
Did you just see the story today? And I know that it's in the Good, Bad, and Ugly, and maybe we can throw it out if we kind of heat it up here. But Sam Levitt is rumored to now be hitting the trading blocks.
Yes. Shopping himself around.
Okay, is On 3 a trustable?
Yeah. No, look,
source?
They're okay. They're okay. But it seems to be something that wouldn't surprise me at all. Now, that doesn't mean that he's not coming back to Arizona State. Essentially, what they're saying is, hey, we're going to hit the open market, and you guys better be ready to pay because I'm going to be taking offers from everybody.
Yeah.
So line up. So it was a shot across the bow to Arizona State saying, I'm going to need more.
Now, a lot of the reports that are associated to all of this say that he's making $3 million right now. Okay, now the other reports, the other rumors that are shaking the ground a little bit is that Kenny Dillingham is thinking LSU.
Oh, and taking him with him.
And maybe taking him with him. And Sam Levitt could go from a cool $3 million in Phoenix to probably $6 to $8 million at LSU. You make that jump to SEC country, and you know that LSU they're all football, and they're sick of being irrelevant.
Yeah.
And if they think Sam Levitt could take them to the promised land, they're going to dig up millions.
Oh, yeah.
For him.
And they'll dig up millions for Kenny Dillingham, who's got a lot of ties to the South. Remember, he came from Florida State. Now, he's an Arizona State guy originally, but he's got his recruiting connections in the South.
Okay. Now, I set that up to bring us all into this conversation. What is Bear Bachmeier going to demand?
I think Bear Bachmeier has done as much for the value of BYU as A.J. DeBonsa will.
Unexpectedly.
Yes.
But yes.
Yes. I think in your terms of exposure, in terms of, you know how Darren Ravel does this. Well, this has meant so much money in terms of exposure to BYU.
Yeah.
Like, if you were to analyze and have some media market guru nerd say, okay, Bear Bachmeier has been worth this in exposure to BYU. A.J. DeBonsa is worth this. I bet Bear Bachmeier will be worth, by the time it's all said and done, as much to BYU as A.J. DeBonsa.
Totally unexpectedly, but in a bigger platform, which is football.
Mm-hmm. And so if I'm Bear Bachmeier, I'm like, all right, I want A.J. money. And I know there's a lot of arguments as to what that actually is.
A lot of arguments and a lot of rumor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that is. A lot of speculation. I think it got inflated a little bit on what was reported. But whatever that number is, I go to BYU and say, that's where we're starting.
Yeah, I think it is too. I think it's very inflated. But we don't need to worry about what the actual numbers are. He needs to worry about what the actual numbers are and figure it out.
Yeah.
But Bear Bachmeier, in a true freshman year, has already thrown for 2,200 yards, 63% completions, 13 touchdowns, and only 4 interceptions. It's not a huge through-the-air year for Bear. It's good. It's good. It's not massive. You know, it's 2,200 yards. Let's say he averages 250 through the next, so you add another 500. You know, we're talking about finishing 2,700 yards. Let's say he finishes 2,700 yards. Let's add 2 touchdowns, 2-4, so 16 touchdowns. So 2,700 yards, 16 touchdowns, and let's just keep his interceptions at 4. We'll go 16-4 and 2,700 yards. That's kind of what it extrapolates out to.
Yes.
Okay? Now let's go to his rushing. He's at 500 yards and 10 touchdowns. let's add another 80 per, so 160. So we'll go 660 rushing yards, and we'll add 2 more touchdowns, 12. So now we're looking at 28 total touchdowns. We're looking at 660 yards rushing, and we're looking at 2,700 yards passing. As a true freshman.
A biscuit toss out of high school.
In a very good Big 12 conference.
Yeah, without a spring ball.
Without a spring ball.
Yeah, imagine what that is when
coming
he has
from Stanford.
Yeah, yep.
He was under Troy Taylor in spring at Stanford. Just so everybody's familiar with where and what Bear Bachmeier was doing. He was competing with the 3 quarterbacks that were in front of him that they decided to keep there at Stanford and let Bear Bachmeier float into Provo pretty much uncontested.
Yep. Yeah. They didn't put up a fight.
And Bear did this before all of the news came down the line that you'd be losing Jake Retzlaff.
Yeah, Bear Bachmeier did that not knowing Jake Retzlaff would come back. And then if, for whatever reason, something happened to Retzlaff, everybody would just assume that it would be McKay Hillstead.
So, a couple thoughts with Bear. Number one, I think he's truly happy in Provo.
Yeah.
He got the shot. It's not like somebody else started 3 games, performed poorly. They rotated another guy in, performed okay. 3 games in, they're looking for the answer, and they're like, oh, okay, give the true freshman a shot. That's not how it went.
Nope.
They nominated him about 2 weeks into camp, which, by the way, it caused a ruckus, because you were watching my conversations with a lot of individuals, and it was like, what? And there were a lot of people in disbelief, and believe me, I was in disbelief. I was like, geez, what are they doing?
Mm-hmm. Same.
The quickest replication of Jake Retzlaff is McKay Hillstead. Like, you're trying to disrupt the apple cart. Why? Like, just put McKay in and just let him be the wild card and run this offense. Nope. Just a couple weeks into camp, Aaron Roderick identifies Bear Bachmeier. Dude, think about how much favor that extends to Bear Bachmeier.
Yeah.
Okay, that's number one. Number two, the way that university has treated Tiger and his dad. Tiger's on the field, man. Like, they're playing Tiger. And Tiger's good. Like, he's good. And he deserves some play time. But I just want to point it out that he's getting his play time. And, that family's well taken care of, well liked and well loved. They pretty much get whatever they want in Provo. Hank and the entire crew get pretty much whatever they want. And you know what? More power to them. They should.
Sure.
This is a Bachmeier reunion, and let's keep it right here in Provo, and let's keep them as happy as they can possibly be. Because nowadays, it's about recruiting a kid now for 4 years.
Yes.
If that kid's going to be a baller and have the influence that A.J. DeBonsa's going to have, then make sure that he feels the love. He's definitely felt the love from Cougar Nation. I know that. He's returned the love to Cougar Nation because the kid won't leave the field until 1:30 in the morning. I know because I sit there in the booth and I watch him on the field shaking hands with everybody and signing autographs and taking selfies until like 1:30. Him and Tiger.
Unreal.
They just stay.
Yeah.
We get done interviewing Kalani Sataki almost an hour after we talked to Bear post-game. Bear's still out there. And he still has guys standing by him like, hey, Bear, we probably ought to let the fans clear out. They need to start to clean the stadium out. And the kid just won't leave. So he's returning the favor. So I think all the love is there. I think the consistency is there. I ask you because I think you're more familiar with the NILs and transfer portals and you've got a good idea of what's going on with the Sam Levitts. If Bear Bachmeier's name popped up on an On3 report that he would potentially enter the trade, I would lose my mind.
Yeah.
I'd be like, what else can you do for the kid?
Yeah, nothing.
You have made Provo the Bachmeier home. You've welcomed him in. So, to me, it's like, at the end of the season, just say, okay, so tell us.
I don't think.
What are you interested?
Yeah.
What do you need?
I would be surprised if there isn't already something in place for the upcoming year, whether it's unspoken or not, and being like, hey, look, we understand you're going to have a lot. Your DMs are going to blow up. Everybody's coming after you. if BYU is smart, which I think they are because they've been cutting edge on the NIL thing all along, I think they've already laid the groundwork for next year. They're not letting this get into December and be like, all right, let's sit down and hammer this out. I bet this thing has been almost put to bed already for next year. And I think BYU looks at it for two different ways. Number one, Bear Bachmeier is worth his weight in gold to that university. And number two, what is the expense of not matching or exceeding another offer and allowing him to leave and then having to reinvest back into your program and find somebody else to take that spot? So there's two things. There's the expense of keeping him, which is worth it, and the avoiding the opportunity costs of what you're going to cost by losing him.
You sign his bird rights, essentially.
Exactly. Yeah. You do whatever you give him a checkbook and say, see, I'm going to sign right there on the name, and then you fill out the rest.
Tell us what you need.
Tell us what you need because it's worth it.
Because the things – okay, so I've been impressed. You know, the top two things I've been the most impressed by. This is the top two things I've been the most that Bear Bachmeier stands out, separates himself from others with. Number one, it's his resiliency. It's his durability.
Yeah.
It's his toughness. Like his ability, he took a shot directly to the leg. This TCU defender got a nice pitch on the interior. Bear stepped back in the pocket. Dude put his helmet down the kneecap and ran his helmet right down the shin and into his foot. I see Bear go down, and in my mind, in the call, I'm like, he's not going to get up. I've seen that too many times with quarterbacks. He's not going to get up. Whether it just raked the shin and the pain of the rake keeps you down, or the hit on the foot, or a little twist in the ankle, or a little bit of hyperextension in the knee. When you take a shot as a quarterback, when you post and you throw and you take that shot in the leg, typically something tweaks. You go down and you think to yourself, is this okay? Kid pops right back up. Right back up. How many shots did Utah take on him?
Oh, jeez.
Dude, they were laying bombs on him. He was dragging them.
Yeah.
He's been taking bomb shots all year long. And I keep thinking, D coordinator's going to figure it out. Now, Texas Tech is the lone defensive coordinator that can feel pretty good about what happened against a true freshman quarterback. He's the only one. Everybody else just sits there and shakes their head in embarrassment. TCU's got a really good defensive coordinator. TCU's defensive coordinator, Andy Avalos, are you kidding me? The guy's been around the game for a long time. He's got a lot of pride. The kid chopped him up. And he keeps chopping them up. So resilience, toughness, all those things that encapsulates. Durability. That's the number one thing that I'm most impressed with. Number two is his poise. I'm talking running skills aside, passing skills aside. All of that stuff is secondary to me to durability and poise. The kid doesn't rattle. He just pulls a huddle together, and he's like, hey, everybody calm down. I know we're down 14 points, and we're on the road, and it's a hostile environment, and these guys are chanting F the Mormons. Look, I get it. I hear it. But, let's come together here. Now, I do think that it is a direct extension of Aaron Roderick.
Yes.
I've been teammates with Aaron Roderick since 1997. What I see Bear Bachmeier do on a field is what I remember from Aaron Roderick as a teammate. Aaron Roderick never gets above this, hi.
Yeah.
Hey, Hans. Hi. Hey, guys. Hey, are you excited to play a football game? Okay, me too. All right, I know we're down 14, and it's a pretty tough time. I know we only got 5 minutes left, but, okay, let's keep our focus. All right, what would you like to do, Bear? It's just this poise. So I think it's leaked onto Bear, and it's made Bear invaluable. News is, by all accounts, I feel like the kid is extremely happy. But when I see things like Sam Leavitt, the rumors with 2 games left, and Arizona State's still in the mix.
Yeah.
Arizona State gets in on tiebreakers if BYU loses one and Utah loses, if BYU loses one and TCU beats Cincinnati, Arizona State's in. So Arizona State is
there's a path there,
solidly in the mix to get to that championship game. And we get these rumors from On3 that went rampant. If that stuff happened with Bear, especially as they're sitting with one loss on the press, it would drive you nuts.
Yeah. Hans and Scotty coming up next. What you may have missed, and then we will continue on right here on the show. Hans and Scotty. It's Jazz Ticket Tuesday, so make sure to listen. Next hour, we'll give away another pair of tickets right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Nobody gets you ready for Utah football more than the KSL Sports Zone.
Ready?
Kyle Whittingham and the Utes return home for a battle against Kansas State. Your home for the best coverage of Utah football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G. Presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hans Olsen, Scott Gerard, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Time for another edition of What You May Have Missed right here on the Zone. And, boy, Hans, a missed opportunity there.
Gut wrencher.
For the Utah Mammoth.
Gut wrencher.
Yeah.
Look, I haven't played a lot of goalie, but, I have played.
Oh, yeah, you got experience on the ice between the pipes.
Actually, you have.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You've taken shots.
I know.
I don't even want to comment.
In between the pipes. Come on.
I don't even want to comment. I watched that game. You get yourself to OT. You do get a point out of it, which is great. But I really wanted to win over Anaheim badly. And I am not versed enough in the goalie world to critique Vejmelka's distance from the goal with what was about 3 minutes left in OT? 6 minutes?
Yeah, about that.
3, somewhere in there. He got outside the net.
Yeah.
And he attacked the puck. And, that's fine. I love good, violent attacks. The pass snuck behind him and got right around the inside of the pole. And then that was it. And you lose in OT. And you saw Vejmelka. I have not seen Vejmelka kind of lose it.
Yeah.
And he chucked his stick, and he was visibly irritated. And so were a couple of the teammates. And I don't know if they were irritated at Vejmelka at his distance. I don't know if they were irritated that he lost sight. I don't know, Scotty. I can't put that together.
And I know normally Bill Armstrong joins us. He will join us, I believe, tomorrow right at 12. He couldn't make it today, Lloyd, as Lloyd was in contact with him earlier. So he'll still join us. It'll be coming up on tomorrow's show. How about that first hour of the show? Bill Armstrong and Danny Ainge, back to back.
That's a power
rodeo.
hour.
That's no big deal.
That's a rodeo.
That's why you listen to this show, not for us, but because we get the heavy hitters.
People that actually know.
Yeah, but I looked at that as, if there's one thing that Bill's told us that, everybody that comes on that knows the game, not every goal is always on the goalie. There's sometimes where your defense breaks down and you could have the greatest of the great in the pipes and you're still giving up that goal. It's just going to happen. And then there's sometimes the goalie lets one through or makes a mistake. That one felt like that was on Vejmelka.
That's what it felt like to me. But
I think that's why his reaction was he was really upset with himself.
But, man, I don't like to guess.
I know.
I don't like to guess. So I'm going to reserve until I talk to Stevens or until I talk to Bill or until I talk to anybody that knows more about that situation. I'm going to reserve some opinion. But that's what it did feel like.
Yeah. And I'm basing that not only on what I saw, but the reaction of him after that.
Because he was outside the net.
Yeah. All right, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.